Morning, everyone. Welcome to EFA133 on a Sunday, August 2nd. Imagine, develop, implement, execute, and watch it grow, right? And watch it grow. And I'm going to talk about this on the premise of three things here: real food, clean water, and 3 meals a day. Okay? And why I'm going to get into this. Taking those, I want you to imagine something being developed, being implemented, being executed, and to grow to production. And what I'm talking about, using those premises in conjunction with real food, with clean, healthy water, and 3 meals a day only. Okay, math. With that in mind, let's talk about the children. Let's just start with the children. Okay, and we can look at. It'd be nice if we did the whole planet, right? If we can do the whole galaxy, the whole planet, it'd be beautiful. But start with a country if you can. But let's narrow it down. Let's narrow it down to a state, to a province, to a city, to a village, to a community, to a school. Let's start with a high school. Imagine if we took a high school in North America, or anywhere in the world, anywhere on your planet, anywhere, and a good high school with good amount of people, 1,500 students, for example, and that high school, if they all participated, they all signed off, and they all agreed, and just like a study, and just like a research, and there's tons of research that would back this up, and I'm getting into something here. Everybody would participate, and that they would only eat real food. Right? If you go to previous EFA, listen to my podcast yesterday's EFA, how I lost well over 100 pounds, plus. When I say plus, everything that came with it, the medical dissipation, the clearing of the mind, the whole 9 yards, right? So, and what do I do next? But in that segment, I talk about real food. What is real food to me, Jean-Guy Bourguignon? So, on that premise of real food, 3 meals a day max, right? And drinking clean, healthy water, if we applied that, and the whole high school, for example, would sign off and participate, their families will probably participate. It'd be nice if this is where it sprouts, right? The whole growing, the high school participates, and all of a sudden their family members that don't go to that high school, their friends that don't go to that high school, or their mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters that don't go to high school, and then they all start participating also, right? So let's keep growing here. So with that principle, let's look at those high school students, right? But you got to start this now, because you want to start the study before they get into their high school, because we're going to go into the COVID-19 world of high schools and school systems around the world, right? A very synchronized system, but we're going to go into this system of how we're going to do school now, right? And how it's going to be done, and et cetera, et cetera. Now, forget all the medication and all that stuff. Imagine if we start a program now. You start the studies now. Take a whole village, take a community, take a city, but start it now at a high school. And that high school, they're all going to participate, and they're going to start now this process. And then by the time they get to school, they've already have maybe a month or so into their body of this real food, real drinking clean water, and maximum 3 meals a day. So we're going to get into the learning here. We're going to get into the productivity. When I look at commonality in this world that I live in, when I look at the commonality of the dissipation of medical conditions, the weight loss, obviously 100 pounds plus. So you can't argue the weight loss. Everybody that lives this lifestyle loses a lot of weight. And we lose it in such a way that it looks good. There's no skin draping. The way the autophagy works, it cleans you from the inside out, slowly brings you in, like saran wrap. So it really cleans you out that way, right? So the benefits of the lifestyle that I live is the weight loss, is the dissipation of medical conditions that disappear and this is all back, right? All this stuff is backed up, but I'm talking my personal experiences, but also the world, the studies and data and research and documents, like there's tons of it, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, 70-year institutions out there that have all that information, right? And they've been doing it forever. So when I look at that commonality of the world that we live in, those that live that world, clarity and productivity. Two very, very, very common elements of people, the lifestyle that I live, or similar lifestyles, or like real food lifestyles, and those that stick to this principle and made it a lifetime lifestyle. Clarity and productivity is a commonality across the board. Now, imagine the focus, right? Because with this lifestyle, the focus the clarity, the productivity, that whole thing, it just naturally grows and expands and strengthens and etc. Right? So imagine if that was in that high school. What would be the differentiator? Let's do those studies, right? We have so many studies out there. We have so much money of everything given out to so many different social engineering, and look where we are today. Just look at the Americas, where we are today with the money that was spent on social engineering. So imagine if we have just give a bit of money, give a bit of money to this program, and implement this program where, like I said, I started at high school, but make it bigger if you can. A whole community want to participate. Those that are listening out there, those that are the activists of nature, the activists of nutrition, the activists of health over being part of a system, right? Those that believe in most of the nutrition is caused, illnesses are caused by nutrition, that understand that and they change their world. Those kind of activists, the ones that want to teach and educate and make people listen to understand. This if we can get money, like let's lobby for some money here from programs and actually put a program like this in place in a community, in a high school, in a village, in a city, in a country, or a state, or a province, and you implement that, and everybody participates. Everybody really participates on 3 meals a day max, on real food, on clean water, living a healthy lifestyle with exercise and etc. Because I said yesterday on yesterday's EFA that the rest will follow. Like you want to, once you start living this lifestyle, you become more productive. Your productivity increases. Your focus increases. Your clarity increases, and the rest follows. You tend to want to do more. You tend to want to exercise more. So imagine these youth, these high school youth, with productivity like that, and, like they would step up their game in everything. They would step up their games in everything, and then you do the comparisons between the high schools that are living the dream, the dream of the lifestyle of the processed food and the processed world, and the medication for this and the medication for that. I need more clarity in my mind. And like think about it, the amount of opiates taken in high schools right now, and in universities and colleges, because people want clarity, right? People want focus, mental focus. Their mind, they're living on, I won't name brands, but they're living on food that is truly not healthy. And if they lived on 3 healthy meals a day, and on clean water, and like I said, the rest will follow with the exercise and the focus and the productivity, etc. The anecdotal evidence is out there, like guys like me, right? Anecdotal evidence is out there. But the research I said about the data, the documented history on, like I'm going to say this, if you combine all that research around the world, from your countries in Spain, and your countries in Sweden, and your countries in Germany, and countries in the States, and in Canada, and throughout, those that have these holistic centers, those that have real doctors, right, and nephrologists, and stuff that have all the data, that have all the research, that done all the study on real people, tangible, those that have all that, it's there. So imagine if you, and we know what happens when you've lived this lifestyle, right? I'm living proof of it. So imagine if you implemented this into somewhere. Like look at a Zen day today. The rain is raining and things are growing out there. Like it's a beautiful day. I'm out in the nature and it's growing. But that right there, life is feeding life, right? Right now, life is feeding life. What if we like put life back into life, right? Let's put life back into life. Let's put life back into the eyes of the children. Let's put life back into the souls of those across our globe, right? You see with the children. I come from that world. Remember my previous role on the cannabinoid space, and I've had many conversations over the years with individuals, and they would tell me about their children with these zombie eyes, the 13-year-old that doesn't want to come out of the bedroom and because it's on opiates, and they just want to distance themselves. I've had those conversations, and the husbands that would say, my wife is there but she's not there. Like, what do I do? Like I've had mothers talk about their fathers, the children's fathers, like that. The parents on the parents and the grandparents and the children, and so on and so forth, and friends and colleagues, and people reaching out. It was amazing how many people would reach out for family members, right? And it's beautiful. Those are people trying to bring life back into the eyes of those they love. That's what they're trying to do. And this is where we are today in this world. We have children that have more, to take more medication. If you look in slices of life, if you go back 20 years ago, the average medication per person, right, compared to today, so I'll guarantee you, that's actually a good podcast. The amount of pills people used to take 30 years ago per capita, per person, per etc., and then 20 years ago and 10 years ago and today, I'll guarantee you the cocktails of people that are on is mind-boggling. Like, it's mind-boggling. And now it's children. Like, you would have said this 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, started, right? The people would look at you like you're from Mars. What do you like? I was going to use a bad word here in society, but what do you like? What can I say today, right? The social engineering will. But back then they'd slap you in the back of the head. They would slap you and be like, "What is wrong with you?" Given that's your children, right? And a lot of that, I believe in science and technology. I believe in medicine. I believe in surgery. I believe in a lot of things that need to be done, right? You can't get away from medicine. You can't get away from real medicine and real surgeries and real procedures and real everything. That is the beauty of science. We know more about our bodies now in the last 10 years because it's science and technology. So I absolutely believe in the science and technology. My own father said he was born 100 years too early. The man loved technology. He loved advancement. He was the guy that bought the first Walkman. I remember when he went out to look for the first plasma and he thought, what are they, crazy? The prices, right? But he was one of that guy. He loved the technology, and hence, because of technology, this is why we can live a hell of a lot longer. And I said, like yesterday's EFA133, I said, I'm living pre-1900. I'm eating real food, like food that wasn't touched by science and technology and stuff. I'm eating real food. And I'm also break my fast with Nutraceuticals. That is nutrition that was touched by science and technology, right? So my Nutraceuticals are first things in my body with my real food, with my good water, with my productive life that comes from the productivity. So this anecdotal evidence on the clarity and the productivity is real. Okay, it's real, it's tangible, it's got documented. And if we implemented this in the schools and the programs and anything, if a whole village would participate, I know there's communities out there like this that think this way. They say, hey, we'll do that. We'd love to do that. We'll put a program in place. Please, government, help us. Hey, we're able to have programs for Band-Aids, and we have programs for the pills, and we have programs for food charts that, right? Let's put programs to this. Let's put a whole community on this challenge. Right? Put a whole community on this challenge. Let's start with something. Let's start with something. Let's do it right, and let's put the money in government. I'm putting here you go. Here you go. I'll work with you. I'll work with you. You implement this, and there's individuals out there that are the brains of knowledgeable, the doctors that I'd love to work with that. This would be a hell of a project, but that'd be a beautiful project. You know, when you sit and you lean back after you've built something, after you have and you go, okay, that looks good. That is well done, well done. And there's a company out there. There's a few of them. I pointed it out to a friend of mine, a business associate. I said, look at this website, and on this website, and this is there's a lot of good companies. That's why I'm not giving out the names. And I go, look at that website, and you open the staff picture on that staff picture. And those that I've seen that picture, that I showed in that picture, I said, what do you see in that staff? There's like 30 or 40 staff in that picture, and they all say the same thing, like across with Commonality. Wow, they all look healthy. Like, they all look healthy because they all participate in that workforce. They all emulate. They all participate because they practice what they preach. And it's amazing how they all look. Like, they look like they were cherry-picked on earth and put together. That's what they look like. But this is one workplace. So what does that tell you? They all participate. Jean-Guy Bourguignon, EFA 133.